viewers, this is Nala and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a partial shaker card. Let's begin. So here I have the Simon Says stamp and the Greeting Farms collaboration for Stamptember this year. Unfortunately, this is one of the limited editions and you cannot get this again, but there's a lot of stamps that are similar, and the Greeting Farms, their characters are always cute. And so you probably could use this or any of the stamps that you have at home. Honestly, you can just easily create the same scene. So here I'm taking some shaded lilac, this is my Distress Oxide. I placed a masking paper or masking tape on the bottom, and I just cut out a little slope to kind of give it a snow hill kind of a look. And today we're going to use for our sky shaded lilac and salvage patina. I have been experimenting with my colors, with blending and skies, and if you've seen my last video, I got this this color combination from another Christmas decorator. And so I like the way that the colors look. They did have a silver in there, but there's no way I can probably blend the silver or create that silver to it. So I just kept it at the shaded lilac and salvage patina, and we're just going to use more of the salvage patina, and the shaded lilac will be more towards the bottom. So again, the trick with ink blending is applying ink. With oxide inks, sometimes you will get fingerprints from the oils in your hand. So as you can see there, I just took one of my mint scrapbook tapes, removable tapes. I turned it upside down, put my finger on it, and that kind of helps to prevent me from getting my icky, sticky fingers prints all over my project. And with blending, you just want to apply as much ink as possible, and then you want to make sure that you are bringing the colors into each other so that they can have a smooth transition. You want to make sure that you start off the paper and then go ahead and blend into your project. This will prevent you from having those rough marks. I apologize. I see that I kept bringing the paper further and further and further down. My table and my camera is a little bit distant, but you get the gist of what we're doing here. And so went ahead and removed that masking tape, and we're gonna start our stamping. Now here I'm using my Misty Misty stamping tool. And then I also have my sticky grid mat underneath. This helps to keep my paper positioned. The magnets are great, but sometimes, you know, it moves and then your project moves and then you double stamp. And I'm going to be using alcohol markers, my Copics. So I'm using the Simon Says Intense Black. This works really well with alcohol markers. I don't have any bleeding. As long as I allow it to dry, for the most part, I can just color right on there. And it doesn't bleed and it looks beautiful. So I love the Greeting Farms characters, their stamps. It reminds me of Precious Moments, if you guys remember. All of us remember Precious Moments, but they're just so cute to color. Honestly, this was a fun project. It was a very fun project. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut off our snow slope. And reason why is because we're going to be adding that snow like glitter on the bottom. This is going to be where our partial shaker will be. I'm using my Tim Holtz, I believe it's called Mini Snips, and just making sure I get as close to that line as possible, because we're going to be placing that right underneath our card front. I did decide to add a little bit of some shaded lilac to the top to kind of give that snow look. I didn't want it to be as dark as the bottom of the one that we did for the sky, but I did want it to have like that little kind of like a smoky look. So just a light color on there. And then I'm going to use one of Simon Says embossing folders, and I'm going to emboss that top half. I like the snow and the swirls, kind of gives it that outside look, windy. And so it was a good plan. And to put that embossing folder in, I was afraid it was gonna like shrink it, but it did good. So then I just put a little bit of my Hero Hues pigment unicorn on my desk, and then took a brayer, rolled it over it, and then went over my embossing image very lightly to give it a little additional value or pop. Now I'm taking an acetate from one of my packagings, my stamp packagings. Normally I like, if I have a die and a stamp, I take the die, and I place it behind the back of the stamp. So I just took one of the packaging, I cut it up, made sure it was bigger than the size of my card. And then I'm applying some adhesive with my tape roll in the front and the back. I want to put it on top of my slope, not too close, because I don't want anything to be visual, right? And once everything gets put together, you kind of see how you want your card to be. You don't want where it shows that you're taping down that adhesive, right? The acetate. So I placed it all around. In the back, I put it on four. I kind of made a rectangle of some sort. And then I'm going to remove the one from the front panel. And this is going to be where we start to put our adhesive on top of, right? And really, I didn't want it to be too far up because I know that the glitter is going to slide up there, so you don't want to mess up your design or cause any kind of bulkage in your card because of that glitter. So I just made sure that I placed it right on top, and then give it at least about almost a half an inch, about a half an inch space, and then I'm turning it over. I removed the backing from the two sides, and I left the bottom on because we're gonna need to put the glitter in. So I just removed the backing on the sides of the panel. I went ahead and fold that adhesive, fold that acetate over to the adhesive to give it a nice firm hold. So now we have it held in the front and then on the sides so our glitter won't escape. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pour some glitter. I believe this is like inexpensive glitter. I bought it from Michaels. Here I'm just cutting off little pieces because I did have a lot of excess. So I just kind of snipped the little sides so that when I fold it, it can be nice and clean and not kind of bulking up. It won't give your card front a problem when you are trying to put it on your card base, if that makes sense. So this is the glitter I was speaking of. I didn't put too much, and I brought it from Michaels. And I just wanted something white to kind of give it that snow look. And then once I put enough and that looks good to me, I went ahead and I fold those adhesives in. I added some extra adhesive for those flaps that were sticking out and to make sure that it was well adhered to my card, because I don't want any glitter coming out. You want to make sure that you have it well taped to your card. Okay, I cannot tell you how many times I have made shaker cards in the beginning of it, in which I thought I was getting sneaky with it, and then when I would place it around, gave it to my kids for them to play around with for a little bit, and all my glitter came, well, not all of it, but you could see my glitter was like leaking out. And I'm like, okay, I learned at that point, do not be cheap with adhesive, okay? You use your tape. Make sure everything is taped down. So now I'm applying just a regular like Scotch tape on top, and this is just those extra flaps that we glued down. This is just to make sure that we are keeping it safe and keeping it from unraveling. and it helps make it flat. And here we have our partial shaker card, guys. And I think it's so beautiful. I love it. This card was honestly, it was fun to make, and I was trying to figure out something I can try to show you guys. And when I came up with this idea, I was just like, oh my God, that would be amazing. So here I'm just checking to see how it looks, making sure that I don't see that top of my snow slope in my card, so it is blend in perfectly. So now we are going to start adhering our embossed panel down to our base. I mean, not our base, our panel. And I'm using scrapbook adhesive sheets. These are honestly a lifesaver if you don't want to run out of tape runners, right? So I had a bunch of scraps around, and I kind of just went through my scraps and I placed it behind, looked for one that would fit, cut it out, put it on there, remove my backing, and then I placed, I think I put a little bit of glue. I believe, yes, I did. Okay, so I did put a little bit of glue because, and I thought I would have, because of the fact that it is embossing, it is an embossed paper, so all those ridges sometimes may not stick to your tape without you applying pressure and messing up your design. So adding a little bit of tape kind of helps to make sure that it is adhered good, and to make sure that everything is on there appropriately. Now, I see on the top there, I have that little piece of white showing. It's not a big deal because I'm going to be putting a frame around it, and the frame is really easy. I did not show how I made it because I die cut a bunch of frames out, but you just take your A2 layering dies or whatever size card you decide to make, take 2 of those layering dies, and you want to make sure that they are perfect with each other, and you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna die cut it. So here I'm gonna put some music on, and you can go ahead and enjoy the coloring, or skip to 16, I believe it was 1631. It's gorgeous. We're just gonna die cut this out and go ahead and start putting our scene together. I I love the way I colored this image. I did not go too detail with how the the depth and giving it some type of a texture, but I did try to do a little something, a little frou-frou to kind of give it a little look to it. And now I'm just putting everything on a white sheet of paper so that you can see it. And then I decided, you know what? I have this glitter as snow. What if I make everything that is snow that same glitter? Well, that was almost a good idea, except the snowman. I should not use the snowman. So I took one of my Simon Says, I believe this is called like unicorn confetti. I put the glossy accent on the snowball, and then I just poured that confetti over the snowball, and I let it sit. I did not like, oh, I did immediately take it off. Okay, never mind. I did immediately take it off. I thought I would just let it sit, but then again, it is glossy accent, and it's that is a really sticky substance, so it will definitely hold it. So I guess it makes sense why I did it. So I just added to the snowball on our little girl and then on the little bunny. I apologize, my dog. And then I decided to add just a little bit of snow on the bottom of the snowman. And I was going to add it like on the side, but then I was like, I just poured a little bit and I took some off. Just left like a couple of little speckles of glitter because I was like, I wanted to really just get the entire snowman, but there's no way for me to like get the snowman in the glitter without hiding all of the details in the snowman, if that made sense. I can try to like maybe go around, but then it'll just look weird. The snowman would just have like indented eyes because all the snow is going to be popped up. And so the eyes and the nose would just be indented in and inside of the snow. So I just opted for just putting a little bit of snow on the bottom and then a little bit around his neck. And that's about it. And honestly, it was enough. I loved how it came out. It did not discourage me in any way. So now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. And then I assembled what I thought or how I thought I wanted it to look like. I know it looks like it's glued. It's not glued, guys, whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take it apart. As you can see here, I'm moving my little sentiment, which means, you know, you have to think, is this exactly what you want? But I realized it was missing some snow, right? So I took some die cut snows that I had left over in my scrap box and I just cut one in half to kind of give it the look like it's coming out of the frame. And then the other two I just adhered down with some my Barely Arts precision glue. No rhyme or rhythm, just wherever I thought was best. So just remember that it's your project. You place it wherever you think is best. And so I just kind of wanted to just give it a little, a little pop. And so I decided to go ahead and just use this little snow. I was gonna add silver, but like, I don't have any silver on here. But silver probably would have been really fun to add on there. And then I'm just gonna glue down my character, and I wanted to pop her up, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have her more in the back than forward. So if I'm gonna have her in the back, I can't pop her up. I have to make sure she's a little bit further back on the hill. And then whatever that I want up front will be popped up. And then everything else will kind of set behind it. So I opted to put my snowman. Like, I mean, how not? I had to put my snowman in the front and kind of making it where the bunny and our little girl is creating a snowman with her friend. And so I went ahead and I wanted to check for placement, of course. Then I put my foam tape behind it and removed the backing, then placed it where I wanted it to be, which I wanted it to be centered But at the same time, you know, the bunny looks like it was like heading straight for the snowman. So I kind of loved it. I wanted it to be centered, but I did want it to be in a way where it looks like the bunny is going straight for the snowman. And then I opted to go ahead and pop up my sentiment, and I added foam tape behind that, not too thick, just enough to kind of just give it a little. That's gonna be my thing for the day. So just to give it a little pop, and then I went ahead and adhered this on my card base. But I look how that snow moves around, and then because we placed it on the bottom of the snowman, it truly looks like it is in the scene, right? Like the snowman is in that snow. So I loved how that turned out. And honestly, I don't know who I'm going to send this to, but I hope they enjoy it. If you enjoyed the content of my video, please like and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you know every time that I put a new video or tutorial up. I am looking forward to seeing you guys later on, and remember, you are beautiful, you matter, and your creation is the art of this world. Bye.